G'day and welcome to another episode of Ian Smithson's Photography. This evening I'm down on the Bunurong coast between Inverloch and Cape Patterson on the south coast of Gippsland in Victoria. This is another episode as a request from one of my viewers. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Beautiful place, and I'm struggling at the moment because it's about an hour to go until high tide and about an hour and a half to go until sunset, and I think the tide's going to beat me. If I just swing around and show you what I'm shooting here, you can see Eagle's Nest rock here, and the rocks and waves washing over the rock platform in the foreground, and the water's going to be right up to the cliff in another hour, so I'm not going to be able to get any further around, and I can't get much closer, and in fact I'm going to have to retreat in the next 15 or 20 minutes. As you can see, these waves are just washing up over here, and there's about another 30 centimetres of tidal height to come in before high tide. So I'm trying to do the best I can at the moment. And what I've lined up here is this large rock in the foreground, and there's just a little rock ledge that you can see on the right-hand side of that rock that is a leading line out to that little cluster of rocks in the midground, and then Eagle's Nest in the background. So I'm taking a few shots here. I can't vary the composition too much because I'll be standing in knee-deep water every time a wave comes in. I'm standing on a little rock at the moment. So I'm going to take a few here and then go and look for something else to shoot. I'd really love to shoot this at sunset, but I'm just going to have to save that for another day. So I'm taking some vertical shots and horizontal shots, and while I'm here I'm just going to click the shutter again while these waves are coming in, because I want to get some of that wash across the rock surface there. I'm bracketing this because I want to make sure that I get the exposure right, but I also may want to blend the sky back in because there's a large dynamic range differential between the dark rocks in the foreground and the bright sky in the background. So I'll give it a go, see what I get, and then move along. Just in terms of settings at the moment, I'm shooting with a 6-stop neutral density filter to slow the shutter speed down to about 8 to 10 seconds. Depending on how much white water there is, it's around that speed, and bracketing down to 2 seconds and up to 30 seconds. And then I've also got a 4-stop graduated neutral density filter over the sky and the rock to account for that difference between the foreground and the background in dynamic range. So we'll see what we get. I'd really like to spend some more time here and look at different compositions, because I think there's some nice reflections in rock pools and things, but those rock pools get filled up very quickly when a wave comes across the rock platform. So if I find another composition, I'll let you know what I've got. So I've come further back on the beach. I've retreated a little bit away from the tide, and I'll show you what I'm shooting here. I've got it in the camera in vertical format, and if I just step back into the water here and show you what I've got, I hope you can see that. I'm shooting from these foreground rocks all the way out to Eagle Nest Rock in the background, Again, bracketing because you can see how bright this sky is. So I'm hoping I can blend that sky back into the shot, back in Lightroom and Photoshop. Now I'm just taking a series of these to try and work out the right shutter speed to blur the water in the foreground enough so that I get that really silky smooth look. And I've still got about an hour to go until high tide. It's not looking too bad at the moment. I'm going to hang around here and see if the tide starts to retreat by the time I get to sunset, which is about 40 minutes after the tide has peaked. And so it should just start to drop off a little bit. And there's not a lot of swell here. It's less than a half a metre swell. And I've been here for an hour now, and there's not really anything extraordinary happening with the waves. So it's pretty safe. But once again, when you're on a rocky shore or any beach, when you're by yourself and it's going to get dark, you don't want to leave yourself stranded with a difficult route to get back. And you certainly don't want to put yourself in danger of being washed off the rocks, or even just slip and fall and hurt yourself. Fortunately, there's so much sand around on these rocks that the wave action across them scours the surface of them, so you don't get slippery algae on it. But it's still going to be a bit of a tricky walk back across the boulders in the dark. So I'll see what I can do here, and if I find another composition, I'll show you then. Well, the tide has closed in and there's still 45 minutes to go, and I'm not going to be safe here, and I can't retreat any further up the beach because I'm now only 3 or 4 metres away from an unstable cliff. And so, safety first, I'm going to head off and get down the road in time to look for another spot to shoot, and hopefully I can find something interesting for sunset. But this is certainly a place to come back to. I've been here many times, but never managed to get here with a camera at the right tide, the right time, and with the right sunset. So with landscape photographer's luck, it's going to be a sensational sunset tonight, and I won't have a location, but we'll go and have a look and see what we can find. See ya. So one last shot while I'm here. I was just walking back and I spotted these rocks here with the waves washing over them. And I'm just set up on these two rocks here and waiting for the waves to wash over them and then wash back. It's usually the backwash that gives you the better shot, and so I'm going to give a few shots here. So I'm going to take a few shots here, like this one. Now, just to try and get those swirls around the rock. And here's another one. Wait for the backwash. Now. And one more. No, there's another little wave coming over the top. No, I missed it. We'll try after this one. And now. So ISO 100, f16. I don't need the f16 for the depth of field, but I didn't want to be fiddling around with filters in the wave splash, so I just set it to f16 to give me a shutter speed of around 1/4 of a second, which gives me the right amount of movement I don't want it to be too blurry. I still want to show some streaks of water around there. And it's really just about getting that sort of satiny, smooth texture in it. All right, head back across the boulder field and up the stairs and see where I can get to before sunset. Bye. Well, the last spot for the evening, it's probably 15 or 20 minutes before the sun starts to get near the horizon and the sky goes pink, but I'm set up here on top of the dunes. If I just spin you around a bit, sorry about the glare. I'm set up on top of the dunes at Cape Patterson Beach, looking straight into the sunset at the moment. I'm going to try a few different shutter speeds. At the moment I've got a reverse graduated neutral density filter on because the sun is so bright and the sky so bright right on the horizon. So I'm trying to balance that with the rest of the scene, but I also have a 6-stop neutral density filter on to slow the shutter speed down to about 8 seconds, and I'm bracketing 2 stops under and 2 stops over to try and work out what the best exposure is going to be. I'll probably end up blending or HDRing at least the central part of the image with the sun in it and the reflection on the water. But now it's just a matter of trying to find a composition and trying to find the right focal length to get the sun, the surf, the beach and the grasses on the dunes in. So I'll show you what I get when I'm done, but I think this will be the last shot for the day. So thanks for watching again. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, press the little bell if you subscribe so you get notified, share it with your friends, tell everybody. But also remember that pixels are free, so get out there and shoot more. And if you like the idea of this shooting at different locations based on requests from you, then please put a comment below and tell me where you'd like me to go. People are very good at telling me where to go, but tell me where to go and shoot and I'll see what I can do. Bye for now.